Time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. Randi Wybron from DPS is in studio. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
AZDPS.gov is the website, AZDPS.gov. Randi is here to talk with us about winter driving, winter safety, driving in general, vehicle maintenance. What else are we going to hit up? DUI patrols are coming up. Well, they've been going on, and they're going to continue going on through the New Year's as well.
Yes.
Well, let's start with the number one thing. Tuesday, I'm driving home, Randi, and I've got the classic car in front of me that is speeding up and slowing down and speeding up and slowing down. I'm thinking, this person's got to be on their phone. So I decide to go around them, and as soon as I start going around them, of course, they start to drift over into my lane. Mm-hmm. And as I'm moving over into the shoulder now to get around them, I can see the guy sitting there. He's got his phone up, and he's looking off to the right, hand on the wheel, and has no idea he's coming over into my lane of traffic. So I gave it a little honk. And, then all of a sudden reality comes back into this guy's head, and he's swerving around the road a little bit. And then, of course, we continue on. Hopefully he'll put his phone down after that.
Hopefully.
But I see that all the time driving back and forth when I go home. And I imagine you guys have got to see that a ton.
Absolutely.
Distracted driving. How's that coming along?
Distracted driving, it's a big deal. It's a big issue right now. So we're working really hard to enforce that. We have the hands-free law that went into effect, so we're still enforcing it to try to get people to pay more attention. And Arizona is a beautiful state, yes, northern Arizona especially, but that's a big safety concern for that person causing a collision, either for themselves or for you traveling next to them. So we definitely would like to have that person reported. If you can contact 911 and describe that driving behavior. If they've stopped for that couple minutes after they might have freaked out, they might hop right back on that phone again. So there's nothing wrong with reporting that person and letting a trooper know. And we definitely would like to educate them to explain the dangers of that. So we definitely want to keep enforcing it, and we've worked very diligently this last year to try to get get the public educated on what the dangers are using your phone while you're driving.
We got another year of education, right?
Yes.
It'll be January of 2021 before the statewide.
Yes, we are still enforcing it as a written warning right now, and then 2021 will be cited. Previously it was 2020, but that's been pushed out another year.
Okay, but for anybody who's watching or listening right now, I know Yavapai County has their own ordinance, Coconino County has their own ordinance. Do you follow the county ordinances? You follow the state ordinances, right? The
Correct.
State laws? Yeah, state laws are for you. So it would be Coconino County Sheriff's Office, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, they would be able to enforce it. There is no more educational period in Yavapai and Coconino County, unless, of course, we get pulled over by the Department of Public Safety.
Yes, that's correct. That's a great point you make.
And then you have to educate me.
Yes.
Educate me. Okay, so distracted driving, it's still out there. We need to stop doing it. It's really, really, really dangerous. The next thing I wanted to get into, and we've talked about this in the news, and I check on it on a regular basis and just kind of bring everybody up to speed on this, just to kind of put it in our heads and keep it in our heads. The fatal crashes each year. A couple of years back, we surpassed the 1,000 mark of people killed in crashes in the state of Arizona. Last year, it was a little over 900. We're at 923 right now, fatal crashes between January 1st and December 15th, and that's according to the Arizona Department of Transportation. Holy cow, 923. That seems like a lot.
It is a lot. It's too much. It is absolutely too much. And unfortunately, a lot of the collisions are still involving a lack of seatbelt use. Or it's distracted driving. Distracted driving can be more than just cell phone. It can be reaching for objects. It can be eating. It can be distracted by radio or passengers. We've taken collisions this year where it's involved someone simply reaching down for something, or they drop something, or drinking and just not paying attention. So the fatal collisions is up, and it's very unfortunate. It's too high. We need people to pay more attention. It's costing people their life.
What's that like for you?
I remember every fatal I've ever had, and I think every law enforcement person and emergency personnel in general too, when we have ADOT crews and fire personnel on scene, we all remember our fatal collisions. They stick with you for the rest of your life as well. But it's hard because when we have to make next of kin notification, we speak with family members and we have to inform them that their loved one has just died. And you don't get the sound of a crying mom out of your head, or that initial wail you get, it stays with you. So it's very unfortunate. It's just not worth it. And then the impact that the families have for the rest of their lives, every anniversary of that death, every holiday without that person, it's very unfortunate.
I was talking to Randy about that before the show. I was thinking about this yesterday. I thought, if I were to cause a fatal collision right now, or I was involved in a fatal collision and I lost my life, just, that's going to be with everyone who survives
forever.
They're going to say, oh gosh, remember we lost Paul back on, December 19th, 2019, and he's not here for Christmas because of that. And so, not to say that it's less than the other time of the year, but around the holidays, it's just awful to have something like that to remember. Yeah.
It is.
So what do we need to do? Buckle up for one thing. Like you said, are you surprised by that we still aren't buckled up?
Yes. Just day before yesterday, I was on patrol and I wrote 4 seatbelt citations in one shift. It's very frustrating to see children without car seats or without their seatbelts, and there's things that we can do to help out with that. I'm a NHTSA certified seatbelt safety technician, so I can help adjusting straps and things like that, but we can recognize the need if they have maybe a financial burden where they can't afford a car seat. We can try to reach out. SafeKids.org has got great programs. We can try to get a car seat to a family, but not having a car seat in the vehicle when there's an infant, or having someone hold a baby in their lap while they're driving down the road, it's difficult to see that repeatedly, shift after shift after shift, because when we take those fatalities, a lot of them are preventable by having a car seat or having a seatbelt on or slowing your speed. But seatbelts, it's hard to wrap your head around what a lack of seatbelt use there is right now. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will say, well, I'm just going down the road. Well, most collisions happen within a few miles from your home. So when we're on the interstate and we're stopping people, enforcing the laws, we have to factor in that any collision we have on the interstate is basically a high-speed collision. We're not talking 40 miles an hour. It's 75, 85, sometimes it's 90, and people just going way over the speed limit. So it's difficult to pull someone over for doing, say, 90 miles an hour, and they've got no seatbelt on, and there's children in the vehicle, no seatbelt. Chances are someone's really going to get hurt. And if you're not going to hurt yourself, you could possibly hurt someone else.
That's got to really increase your level, too, when you see somebody doing something like that, right? Just what do you think you're doing?
Well, it's just so easy to do. You get in.
It's a habit.
Yes,
to get
and
into.
I've heard people say maybe they have a weight concern. Well, there's things to do to get around that. There's extensions, seatbelt extenders. You can purchase those. If you need some padding, if you have the adjustment on the side of the vehicle on the pillar where you can make it higher or lower, get comfortable with it. It is a law. You are required to wear your seatbelt in the front of the vehicle. It's 16 years old and under. In the back seat is where we start reaching some. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. So the Arizona statutes are the ARS codes are 28-909A and 28-907. So I encourage people to Google the seatbelt laws or go to azdps.gov, and they can research on that, understand what's required of you when wearing a seatbelt in your vehicle and for your passengers to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, buckle up, for Pete's sake. Buckle up.
Please.
Yeah, I do. I don't know how many stories, and you respond to this stuff where the story ends. They were not wearing their seatbelt. They were ejected from the vehicle. And once you're ejected, doing 75, even just 40 ejected.
Yes.
You're going to land on rock, dirt, and asphalt. There's not much else to land on around in Arizona.
Absolutely.
It's rock, dirt, and asphalt. We got to take a break. DPS Trooper Randi Wybron in studio today. AZDPS.gov is the website. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Parents, you know as well as I do, there's nothing more important than your children. Don't you love to look in their eyes and see the love? Make sure they can see that love in your eyes by having their eyes examined. You can't tell how well your kids see, but Dr. Houston at Camp Verde Eye Care certainly can. Call 567-3330 to make an appointment. You'll be glad you did. Camp Verde Eye Care at 567-3330. They really do care.
Hi, this is Michelle and I welcome you to Sedona Paint Centre. We are here to help you find the perfect colour scheme and product for your home and business. Enjoy free in-store and in-home colour consultations and free paint samples in a colour of your choice. As a special offer to you, just mention this ad and save an extra 10% and enjoy 30% off store-wide.
Turning your real estate dreams and goals into reality, I'm Claudel Johnson with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. For more than 7 years, I've helped both real estate buyers and sellers put me and my team's extensive knowledge of the Sedona and Verde Valley area to work for you. Come see a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, single-level home with a pool at 50 Sedona Street. You'll love the Sedona Red Rock views from this VOC area home. We turn your real estate goals into reality. Claudel Johnson at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Arizona.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Countywide. DPS Trooper Randi Wybron in studio today. AZDPS.gov is the website. Let's talk about winter driving. We've had a big storm. I know we had a couple of folks that got stuck and we found them deceased. I was on vacation that week, but I know that happened. That's pretty tragic. I know that. And then I noticed also that especially the Coconino County Sheriff's Office was running into whenever they shut down I-40, people want to jump off on those Forest Service roads and go on the back roads, and they get stuck out there, and then they're stuck. So winter driving tips. What can you tell us about winter driving and how we should be handling that? Because we may see storms during the week of Christmas.
Yes, that's correct. And then so when it's a good idea to check the 511 or check weather to see those big storms that are coming. It might be the best idea to just stay off of the road, period, if it's going to be that bad. If there's expected closures, you don't want to take those Forest Service roads. Oftentimes those can be closed, but getting stuck, as you mentioned, is a horrible way to spend your time. And it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for you being stuck there, and it's dangerous for people coming to try to help you get out of those situations. So definitely want to keep an eye on the weather. Plan your trip accordingly. Give yourself extra time. Expect delays. Expect that there could be road closure. There could be times where you need to stop to make an extra gas trip. Please keep your vehicle at least half a tank. Anytime you can possibly cap off your gas tank and fill up, you should do so. Keep extra clothing in your vehicle, blankets, or if you have a thermal blanket, I know you can find them anywhere pretty cheap. The little silver ones look like a deck of cards you can keep in your vehicle. It's a good idea to keep a kit in your vehicle. It doesn't have to be anything very heavy, but if you have just maybe a tote you can pack with some extra granola bars or some food. Always have water in your vehicle. Keep a blanket in there. And a shovel. Folding shovel is very nice to have in case you do get stuck. There are maybe a time you could dig yourself out with just a folding shovel. Don't have to carry a full shovel. But food and water is a big thing, but extra clothing is also helpful for while you're waiting for emergency personnel or maybe a tow truck to come help get you unstuck.
We got that beautiful thing called a cell phone too, which is a great tool to keep it charged while you're driving down the road as well, because that's going to be your lifeline.
Yes.
If I'm stuck on the side of the road, I'm dialing. Should I dial 911? If I slide off the road, should I dial 911 or should I find just the regular dispatch number?
You should dial 911.
Okay.
It'll come through.
Because I'm in a hazard, and I'm probably creating a hazard on the side of the road too. Because people are driving by, and go, "Oh, good thing I'm not that guy." Then all of a sudden, they're going off the road too.
Yes, and if you're not reporting yourself sliding off the road, oftentimes a lot of people passing by are calling in 911 to report that you've slid off the road. So it's good for us to speak with an involved party or for our dispatchers to know whether that person needs a trooper or needs a tow truck or has injuries or what they're needing to respond to. Oftentimes we have collisions that are reported where the involved party themselves has not called in. So when we get to the area, we'll make contact and we'll find either that someone's been hurt and has needed medical or that they don't need any assistance at all. They've made their own arrangements and we did not need to respond to that. So it's helpful for us to know what's going on.
Okay. Now people think winter driving, they think, okay, I'm going to be driving in snow, ice, and stuff like that. But anybody who lives here knows that when it comes down even in the form of rain, and that can be quite a hazard on the road as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then our elevation changes so drastically with even just between sort of the Rimrock area going up into Munns Park or Stoneman Lake. So it's really unpredictable where it's going to freeze or where the snow is going to start and stop. So it's a good idea to carry kitty litter or sand in your vehicle. That's a great thing to have. I'm newer to driving in the snow. When I transferred up here, I hadn't driven in snow very often, and I went to my first snow wreck. I had a jackknife semi and cars slid off all around, and I called a squad mate. I said, hey, what do I do with these cars? He says, you got a shovel? I said, yeah. Find some dirt. Sure enough, I spent the next 6-7 hours of shift just finding dirt and just shoveling under tires to try to get people back on the road. With all those hills that we have that you climb through going north or even sometimes come down south, it's a good idea to keep your vehicle in motion. When you are starting to get stuck, you don't necessarily want to stop because then it's going to be a lot harder to get you going. So really watch your braking and gassing when you're traveling through those areas. You don't want to brake too much or too hard, too quickly, to where you're going to cause your vehicle to fishtail and maybe hit another vehicle or begin that slide off on the side of the road. So a lot of times the slide offs are fully preventable by decreasing your speed, allowing yourself some good following distance, and just having very light touches on your steering wheel and your gas and brake pedal.
Okay. Last storm we had, DPS ADOT. Someone had asked ADOT, why is northbound and southbound I-17 closed? And ADOT responded back, well, northbound is uphill, and that's where people get stuck.
Yes.
Downhill, if you go slow enough, you're going to be just fine. So people were trying to figure out, well, why can't I go northbound, but everybody can come southbound? So that's the reason why they do that as well. And yeah, we had, what did we have? We had 17 was closed, I-40 was closed, and it was an extensive period of time as well.
Yes, it was.
For, like, I want to say, was it 24 hours a day?
I'm not sure exactly how long, but it was right around there. You know, and I got to say, most of us at DPS, we really respect that decision. All of us, in fact, I don't think I've talked to anyone that's disagreed with that decision. We try to plan for those closures, and ADOT and DPS work together very much to make that decision, or to at least discuss and put input on it. I think it saved lives closing the roads that day for as long as it was, because the response, you know, getting plows through is also very difficult when we have a lot of slide offs, when we have those jackknife semis, or we have a large amount of traffic that has slid off. It's very difficult to get a plow through. So the problem then becomes, well, how do we now even fix this problem we have? So I think it was a great decision for them to close the road down.
I'd agree. So that's something you definitely expect when there's snow coming down. Is just there's a good possibility that 89A between Jerome and Prescott's going to be closed. Mm-hmm. We had a storm last year that shut down the switchbacks in Cornville and 89A into Sedona because it was just enough to keep everybody from being able to get to where they needed to go. So yeah, winter kit in the car and just be prepared for the freezing roads. We got a minute. Vehicle maintenance plays kind of a key before we have to take a break. But vehicle maintenance is pretty key this time of year as well.
Yes, a lot of the collisions we take could have been prevented with some healthy vehicle maintenance. So checking your fluids, your tires, windshield wiper fluid is a big one. A lot of people take that for granted, that you start to get a little bit of salt on the windshield, or you know, you're flaking off the snow, you can't see, it smears and it's blurry. You're basically now driving blind in poor conditions. So top off all your fluids, your battery life. Your battery is going to start a little bit slower with it being cold weather. You need to take into account, make sure your battery is fully charged, check for corrosion on your cables, make sure you've got a good connection. And your tires are such a huge factor in any driving you do and any time of the year, but especially in poor conditions, wet and snow.
Yeah, you want those tires to grab. Okay, we got to take another break. Department of Public Safety Trooper Randi Wybron in studio today. Their website is azdps.gov. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Regrow, repair, replace. Regenerative medicine is the process of creating living, functional tissues to repair or replace tissue or organ function lost due to age, disease, damage, or congenital defects. Dr. Forrest Lanchbury and the team at Sedona Regenerative Medicine specialize in finding relief for patients suffering from chronic pain. Contact Sedona Regenerative Medicine to learn about anti-aging medicines that will help your body heal itself. 928-282-2520 or SedonaRegen.com.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle, get Gettles.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Welcome back. We've got just a few minutes left of the program, and once again, we will remind everybody not to drive intoxicated. That is something we've been pushing since, I want to say, right around Halloween is when Alberto Gutierrez from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety sent out his first press release saying, okay, grants are going out.
Yes.
We're going to have extra funds for the officers and troopers and so on and so forth, so they can be, and deputies, so they can be out on the roads and doing saturation patrols. And so I think the first one was like the Halloween week. And now the holidays this year are kind of right in the middle of the week. Mm-hmm. And so when I talked to Gutierrez about this, he says, well, we've got celebrations prior to the holiday,
yes,
during the holiday, and then the weekend after the holiday tends to be a celebration as well. So I think there's a little something different going on this year where we're pretty much DUI saturation patrols every single weekend.
Yes.
Okay. So how's that been going for you?
So it's a joint task force that we're doing. So it's including all the agencies. It's Cottonwood Police Department, Sedona Police Department, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office, Jerome PD, Arizona Department of Public Safety. We're working together to in those saturation patrols to try to get people to understand how dangerous it is to drive under the influence. And now it's not only for alcohol. We have a lot of DUIs that are involving marijuana use or illegal drug use, or sometimes even prescription mixing. If you have a prescription, you're mixing it with any alcohol, it can also cause impairment a little more quicker. So we're diligent on that daily in patrol, but these saturation details are a wonderful idea because it gives us time to really focus on driving behavior. If I'm seeing a lot of some of the common clues for driving impaired are like following distance or swerving or weaving within lanes, of course. So if you see someone who you suspect could be driving under the influence, or you know of maybe someone who is driving under the influence, it's really important to call in 911 and report that person to ultimately save their life or save someone else's life around them that they could be causing a collision or harm to.
You don't get the holidays off, do you?
No, we do not. We work 24/7. So, it's even if you haven't seen a trooper on the road, maybe immediately you can. 911 is 24/7. Call anytime. Report anything you think is a hazard to that person or anyone around them.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a license plate number and kind of car too. If you've got a passenger, that'd be perfect for them to be able to make that phone call and say, yep, we're right behind them right now. It's this kind of vehicle, it's this license plate. And then right after you get that information, you can pretty much back off, can't you? And then
yes,
troopers will come along and track them down, or the deputies or officers will come and find them.
Yes, and the more description you can give, the better. If you say, oh, it was a gray sedan and it was, southbound I-17 at 304. Well, we're probably going to see a lot more gray sedans. So a license plate is a great piece of information for us. We can plug in the plate, we can try to get a return on it and see, just a general address where they might be headed. But it really helps us to identify the vehicle itself once we've located that vehicle.
I hope you're bored this holiday season.
I do too. I hope
you're bored. Yeah, I hope you're just sitting on the side of the road going, oh, everybody's not speeding. They're not following too closely. They got their seatbelts on. No one's got their cell phone in their hand.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. No one's DUI. What a world we'd live in.
It'd be wonderful to have no DUIs.
Thank you so much. We are out of time. Randi Wybron, thank you so much for coming in. AZDPS.gov is the website. Thank you so much for watching, listening. This is Countywide, and we'll talk to you again next time.